your audio track is set at the default narrative audio track. If you'd like to switch to just music, press your audio button on your DVD remote. Or, if you'd like to hear just the sounds of the road, press your audio button again for the third track.
That's his retirement program.
It's on 2287, yes.
That's where the old Walmart Yeah. I knew where that was going.
Well, once again, welcome. This is the Mile of Hell. This was going to just start out as a fun little club ride that turned into a really tough workout. I started this ride in Fort Collins, so I'm already warmed up in the video here, and so the heart rates jump up pretty quick. So I rode about 10 miles to get to the start, but just warm yourself up slow. The warm up here is key. And we'll warm up like the intro said for about an hour. And then it gets pretty tough. And I'd suggest working your way through the warm up. I wouldn't do just disc 1 and then tomorrow do disc 2. You can. I mean, the hills aren't really there, right? So, always get yourself prepared for a nice warm-up. Especially when the efforts are really high, like they will be here. Well, we're starting in Loveland, Colorado. We're about 40 miles north of the Denver Metro. And it's the Tri-City area. It's basically 3 cities, Fort Collins, Greeley, and Loveland, all within 10, 15 miles of each other. And you wouldn't really know it, but there's a fairly good sized population out here. Loveland has a population of about 60,000. Fort Collins, a little over 120,000. And Greeley, I believe, is right around 40,000. And these 3 cities make up the part of Poudre County. And Loveland's got this great bike group called the Pedal Bike Group, which is PEDAL. You can do a search on Google for them. Just Loveland Bike Group, Pedal, something like that. And they're the main group out there. The interesting thing about Loveland area, and Fort Collins too, are the number of clubs. Tons of cyclists. And it's not hard to understand why when you ride out here. It's just gorgeous. Well, let me introduce real quick some of the tools, and you may have already watched these, but just in case. On the dashboard at the bottom, you'll see 2 graphs, color graphs, an upper and a lower. The upper graph shows the hill profile, and the lower graph shows the effort. Pretty much everything in the red will be at efforts of about 92% of max at the most. And everything in the green is in the aerobic zone, around 75%. And for the most part, this first disc is a gradual ascent, nothing too horribly steep. The group will every once in a while turn it on, and we'll get our heart rate up to stay with them. And as you can see, we're spinning at a cadence of around 90 RPM at a fairly easy resistance as we're tucking in behind this nice tandem. And the gear ratio will fluctuate, and you can match those gear ratios on the right. And this is very arbitrary guide. It's not perfect. Everybody's trainer or spin bike or rollers will have different resistance efforts based on your gear. And sometimes the recommended gear ratio might be too high. Sometimes it'll be too low. Other times it'll be spot on. So it all depends on what you're training on. If you're on a fluid trainer, pretty accurate. This ride is a bit of an anomaly in that as we go on, I'll tell you what that bottle means, but as we go on, the hills will get so steep that the gear resistance is low in some cases if you're used to certain low resistance and gear ratio to keep you on target with your heart rate, where a 10 out of 10 might not be enough based on what you're used to. So you really have to put it into a really high resistance on your spin bike, or add some resistance on your trainer if you have a magnetic type trainer. Basically what's key on these hill climbs that we'll be hitting is the cadence value, which you'll notice on the bottom left. And if your cadence is too high, you know, on some of those climbs, we're going to be running cadence around 35 to 40 RPM. And if you are at a cadence of 60, it's too fast. So if you have the luxury of adding more resistance to slow your cadence down while maintaining your target heart rate, then that's what you should do. Right now it's pretty gentle, cadence of 80, low gear ratio, just a little bit of resistance, keeping our heart rate in the aerobic zone. And all the other data there is just for fun. Speed and elevation, distance, total climbing. You acclimate yourself between miles and kilometers, feet and meters. And then on the far right is our GPS type map. This is showing a nice aerial view of the place that we're riding. There'll be a few landmark locations. Keep your eye on names of roads, towns, stuff like that. So you'll notice the black line that goes from the top graph to the bottom graph, indicating our position along both. So you'll notice that we're in a nice green aerobic zone, and right ahead of it to the right, a little orange blot. We'll have a little acceleration there. So prepare to adjust your cadence and your resistance accordingly, and watch for those changes in the heart rate. While we're in Loveland, I'll talk a little bit about it. One of the cool attractions out here is the sculpture gardens. Very unique to the area. Hundreds of sculpture exhibits that are located around the Loveland Lake. And every year they have a festival in August called Sculpture in the Park. And people from all over the country, or even all over the world, come to exhibit their works. And there's some really amazing stuff. Definitely worth checking out. And even though we're at 5,000 feet, in August the temperatures get pretty warm. There's Loveland Lake there in the middle. That's where we stopped. And here we are. I'm riding right along with you. So when the efforts change, I'll be changing them right along. Some sections I can't talk. And here's our little acceleration I was talking about. Heavier gear. Let's start driving towards that group up front, keeping it under control. Get our heart rate up to about 80%. %. Wasting a lot of effort into the wind by ourselves. Drive a little harder and get that wheel in the front. That. Okay, we're on. Let's relax. Easy pedaling cadence. Let's bring our heart rate down. There's another jump right up ahead. Oh yeah, water bottle. Means it's time to drink. So often we just forget. So the water bottle show up every 5 or 10 minutes, reminding you. So your mission, even if you've taken a drink, or if you don't even feel thirsty, that water bottle pops up, take a slurp from it. You gotta stay hydrated on this ride. It gets really tough, and the whole function of the ride will be defeated if we're not hydrated. Here's our acceleration. So let's go ahead and drive it up bigger gear and get on this guy's wheel. I'll lift the effort. Probably close to 90% here. Somewhere around here, I'm thinking we still got another 30 miles straight up. Let's back it off. So bring down your gear ratio, cadence. Keep the pedals turning. Slowly bring your effort back down into the lower 80s. Keeping your cadence right around 80, 85. Catch my breath. Stay anaerobic. We're going to work up to a nice rhythm here. Not too many accelerations. Just a nice steady cadence. And we'll stick at around 84% of our max heart rate for the next 10 or 15 minutes until we get into Masonville.
Yeah, this is nice, isn't it?
So this is just one of hundreds of beautiful rides in Loveland. And the whole area is inundated with amazing routes with lots and lots of roads, just like what we're on. Low traffic, beautiful views. You've got a great ride up to Estes Park. You should just follow Eisenhower Highway all the way up. Spectacular. Carter Lake is another tremendous ride. Not too much climbing. Great scenery. The lake is beautiful. It's in the third series of Training to Endure, called From the Front Range into the Hills. It's a nice loop around that lake or past it. And then it actually follows the same route that we're on right now. But instead of going to Masonville, it goes east towards Horsetooth Reservoir, which is another really neat lake. And not to mention Pinewood Reservoir, which is an insane climb from Loveland to Pinewood. And that's in another video called The Rattlesnake Bite. And it's about a 40-minute climb at grades from 10 to 14% probably. But the descent makes it worthwhile. And about 30 or so miles, we'll be descending into the town of Bellevue, which is about 5 or 6 miles north of Fort Collins. And it's entry to the Rist Canyon ride we'll be going on here. And it's also the start of the Poudre River Trail, which follows the Poudre River, all the way from Fort Collins into Greeley. And out and back from Fort Collins to Greeley. Oh, about 65 miles maybe. In the springtime, lots of bugs. And Bellevue also has a fairly large fish hatchery. And it's just a overall cool place to visit, hang out. Very small town. But again, great rides. Horsetooth Reservoir, Rist Canyon, Poudre River Trail. Endless options. Here's a little climb. Pop it up into a bigger gear. Let's grind our way up it. We won't be standing up for any of these climbs. Just feel your legs. Get them into the groove. Get a nice rhythm. Drive your heart rate up. Time for a drink. Just behind us on this road, little alpaca farm. Go make yourself a itchy retro old jersey. Again, let's focus on cadence and heart rate. Yeah, we're almost to oh crap. Can't remember the name of the town. Belleville? No. I'm sorry. My heart rate gets over 85%. My brain disengages. But and we're almost from our first rest. How about that? Little climb here. A little heavier gear. Drive that heart rate up. Just a little ways and back down. And here's a nice descent. Soft pedal it, or stop pedaling. Let your legs recover. Well, we're going to do a little different in this workout. I don't know if you're used to my other or the other ones. Is there won't be any soft pedaling on the descents. We're just going to stop pedaling. So when that cadence shows 0, stop pedaling. And we're also going to take advantage of all the rests. No pedaling through the rests. Just stop, rest, pause the video, walk away, get a drink, something cold, grab a banana, some pretzels, and then come back to the video and start all over. It's not comfortable, but we'll get into the details why later. It's not comfortable starting cold, but We're going to be doing that. Well, let's start cranking back up. Real easy cadence here, or easy gear. As we approach the town of Gula, a little resistance, go up the hill. And start backing it off as we come to the top here. And we begin our final little jaunt into Masonville. We climbed about close to 400 feet in about 10 miles, so not too bad. Take that rest. Rolling again. Get that heart rate down to right around 65%. Should feel pretty well rested. And we're going to roll out pretty gently here. And we'll hit a couple of little climbs. No serious effort for about another 20 minutes or so. Just all warm up. You'll notice on the graph there's a flat green spot. So top and below. Take a drink. And we lose our GPS for that segment, and so all the data on the screen will be on pause. So we'll be improvising, and it's kind of cool because it really opens up the view of the road, and it is a beautiful section through some nice forest along the creek. If you turn me off and the music off, get some nice babbling brook sounds and Tweety birds, crickets. And of course the chain ring. Well, through the rest of the video, I'll be talking a little bit about building muscle. Since that is the title. And I do have some experience. I was a personal trainer for a little while at a local gym. California. I was real big into bodybuilding, and eventually switched my interests back to cycling, which is really where my roots are. But the weight training was a nice experience. Learned a lot of things. Gained a lot of weight as a result. Little hill here. So I'll be imparting a little bit of my wisdom, but in the capacity of cycling. Little climb will be spiking up the heart rate just a bit. Keep it going. Let's lift that heart rate up. And back down. We'll be resting it into the aerobic zone here. 75% of your maximum effort. Yeah, as a weightlifter trainer, you hear a lot of misinformation from other people. One of the things I hear so much, or heard so much, is that you don't want to lift weights because you're afraid of getting too big. That's just not true. Professional bodybuilders commit their lives to getting freaky. Lance Armstrong, one of the skinniest guys on the planet, is an avid weightlifter. Most professional cyclists lift weights regularly. And if you want to sprint, power up a hill, you gotta lift. You gotta get strong. Another good one is, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get big muscles, because that muscle turns to fat. That's another myth. Muscle doesn't turn to fat. Hamburgers and French fries turn to fat. Muscle actually increases your metabolism and helps you burn fat. The more muscle you have, the more efficiently you utilize your food and your fat. People who lifted weights stop lifting weights, go sedentary, might gain weight as a result of a change in their lifestyle, and that fat overlying muscle Might not look so good, but these guys, if they decide to start working out again, will burn that fat away very quickly. So muscle requires a lot of nutrient. So, why build muscle? Well, the benefits are pretty obvious. Other than just looking good, they help you improve your endurance. They make you go faster, pedal faster, longer, harder, better climbs, better sprints. You get improved blood flow, better circulation through your body. Your heart is muscle. She'll make that stronger too. And with better muscle development, you increase your metabolism. And with better metabolism or increased metabolism, more energy, and of course, better fat burning. You use more calories just getting up, taking a walk. So improved health, improved attitude, better outlook on life. A lot of reasons to get stronger. Bit of a climb here. Put in a bit of harder gear. Now let's add some resistance to those pedals. Work them around. Get the heart rate back up. We'll be going up to high 80s here. Down, coast. Stop pedaling, and now pedal. Back up a little hill. Add some resistance, positive pressure through the legs, staying seated in the saddle. Let's really drive down. No spinning techniques, no ankling, just mash, just quads. Almost up. And down. And again, just coast. Rest up. And back up. So pedal. Apply some more resistance. Nothing too much here. Almost to the top. And we'll take another nice rest here. Lower your excuse me, heart rate into the aerobic zone. Soft pedal it. We're gonna do most of that, or some of that red stuff to the right of the line, but not all of it. And back up.
Just remember on the approach, there's some booger short uphill.
By the end of this workout, if you do both discs, which I hope you will, you'll be hurting. And I wouldn't do anything after this workout, at least the next day. Do this full ride today, tomorrow, either take the day off, a nice gentle recovery ride. So let's coast here. So back to our topic about muscle building. Just talk a little bit about body morphology. And you may have heard the terms ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. And these are basically just descriptors that try to define the characteristics of your body and your genetics, which define your size, your ability to burn fat, build muscle, lose weight, how much weight you carry. And what types of successes you can expect as a person of your stature, and the types of difficulties and hurdles that you're going to come into as a result of working out and maybe not seeing the results of your efforts as quickly as you like. So reality is, changing your body, getting into shape, building muscle, takes a lot of time. Straight ahead of us, see that guy's legs? We're going to talk a little bit about form and fit, but watching the legs out, splaying, popping at the knee. Keep that image in your mind. As we'll get to that topic later. So if you're an ectomorph, you're a lean person, very skinny, natural born hill climber. You eat and you eat, and you never seem to gain any weight. You do push-ups every day. Look in the mirror and you're still skinny without a chest. You have a very hard time building muscle. Yeah. And if you want to know whether you're just skinny or if you're an ectomorph, might be here's a hill, sorry. We're going to start some climbs here. If you want to know if you're an ectomorph, wrap your thumb and middle finger around your wrist, and if they overlap up to the first knuckle, you're an ectomorph. So, I want to stop talking. Climbs get a little tougher here. We got to put it into a nice big gear. We're really mashing here, slowing our cadence down, getting our heart rate up, beginning into the low 90s here. Drive up that heart rate. Nice and steep climb. Keep your knees snug to the bar. Stay in your saddle and just power your way over the top here. Get that heart rate up. A little reprieve, back to a climb. Another little break here. And let's coast again. Almost. Sorry, we're still going up. Bigger gears. Drive them up there. A lot of pressure on your legs. Your feet should be feeling pretty heavy. That's our Team Fast Gear sponsor. www.teamfastgear.com. Cycling apparel, training aids, and the best training videos on the market. Really drive that heart rate up here. Watch your cadence right around 70. Cadence is down a bit. Ten out of 10 on the resistance. Work it up there. All right. You may now slowly lower your resistance. Now let's keep our cadence around 80. And our heart rate also around 80%. So take off some resistance, get your cadence up. And your heart rate down. So we got 15 minutes of enjoying just the views of Colorado. Coming up here, Sneaky Hill, we're going to go into a 10 out of 10 on the resistance. Bring our heart rate back up to 90%. So let's start going. Big resistance, big gears here, big ring up front. 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And 10 out of 10. And come on, pop out of the saddle. Let's work our way up this hill. Up we go. Back down into the saddle. Take off some resistance and it flattens out up here. Six out of 10. Bring our cadence up, around 80, 85. And we rest our legs a little bit and just spin them. Beautiful view. That valley off to our right. Wish you could get the whole thing in video. It's quite breathtaking as we watch the road descend and turn to the left, following that mountain ridge off to the right in front of us. And we got ourselves a descent here. Let's take off all of our resistance and stop pedaling. Coast. Let's bring our heart rate back down into the mid-60s. Lift it back up again. So you're ectomorph. Somebody skinny. And the next, or opposite of that, is your endomorph. Let's start pedaling up here. Just keeping the cadence nice and high. Fairly moderate resistance. 3 out of 10. And we'll just slowly increase that as we have a little hill here coming up. Let's go 5 out of 10. So your endomorph, your beef and corn fed stereotype, Nebraska farmer, big boned football player. These guys have, or people I should say, have no problem building muscle. No problem adding weight. On the contrary, they have a difficult time losing weight. It seems that no matter how little they eat, how much they work out, the weight is always there. They have a real hard time burning fat, getting smaller. And basically, again, the genetics dictate this. If you're an endomorph and you're trying to lose weight, you gotta work twice as hard as somebody else, or even harder than twice as hard. Endomorphs don't have to work at all. Or I'm sorry, ectomorphs. This is a fairly steady climb through the valley. It's not steep, so resistance should be around a 6 out of 10. Heart rate about 82 to 84%. Cadence at right around 80. Now your benefits of being an endomorph is obviously you're a very powerful person. You're an awesome time trialer. You pull people with a headwind and they still come off your wheel, even though your draft is huge. People behind, or the people who are behind you, are looking for your wheel because they get sucked along, but your power takes them right off. A natural born time trialer. But you can't climb, and your sprints are so-so because you have a hard time with the acceleration. Now the mesomorph is pretty much right in the middle. Oh, and one more thing, if you're an endomorph, do the wrist wrap test. If your fingers don't touch, you're probably an endomorph. And if your fingers do touch, but only barely, or maybe just up to the fingernail, you may be a mesomorph. Right in the middle. And our society attempts to make everybody fit the mold of a mesomorph. So ultimately, if you're really skinny, trying to get to a little heavier mesomorphic body style, and if you're too big, trying to lose weight to become once again a mesomorph. And these are your great all-around cyclists. Not a great hill climber, not a great time trialer, but a hell of a sprinter. It's your Cavendish ideal representative of a mesomorph. Nice big muscle bellies in the legs, but not huge. And you don't have to work quite as hard to gain weight as an ectomorph, and you don't have to work quite as hard to lose weight like an endomorph. But you do have to work. And when you get it dialed in, you're on the cover of some magazine. But you'll probably never be a great hill climber, and you probably won't be a great time trialist. But you can intimidate the heck out of people with your crazy, godlike sprint. Okay. We're just gonna hop on this wheel here. They got some supplies we need. So we stop for just a sec, and we'll get rolling again. And we've got about 5 minutes left in the ride. Good little climb coming up here. Get your legs back into the swing of things. As soon as we get to the end, we're gonna rest up, put in the next DVD, and begin torturing ourselves. Big gear. Here we go. Take out some resistance. Keeping our heart rate up. And another hill. Drive it up. Still positive pressure. Now a little bit more. It's fairly steep here. And we're out of the saddle in the video just for a second. So you can stretch out, get up, get to the top of this thing. Or keep hammering up the quads. The pressure on. Yeah, now it flattens out here. Keeping the cadence nice and high. And coast. Let your legs know you still love them. Take it back up here. A little bit of a grade. Up to our rest stop, coming right up here. Take a 5-minute break. Get something to drink. Put in the second disc and keep rolling. At least up to the top of the climb. Since you're so warmed up now and you're all stretched out, don't stop. See you on the next disc.